Welcome to this Pokémon Platinum walkthrough. Pokémon Platinum was the third main series game to be released during Generation 4 and it's an expanded version of the first two Generation 4 games, Pokémon Diamond and Pearl. Generation 4 enhanced and expanded upon the game mechanics in Generation 3 and brought along with it, among other things, 107 new Pokémon, 113 new moves, 47 new abilities and updated graphics as the main series made its debut on the Nintendo DS. This game is set in the Sinnoh region, located north of the Kanto, Johto and Hoenn regions. During this walkthrough I will show you where you need to go and where to find important items. I will also give you strategies and hints to take down tough trainers, and I will present reviews for the Pokémon you can catch as you travel through Sinnoh. When you start a new game, Professor Rowan will introduce himself. After a short speech and a small demonstration of the dual screen capabilities of the Nintendo DS, Professor Rowan will ask you to choose the gender and name of the character you'll be playing. I will be naming my character Lucas, which is the default name for this game's male character. The default name of the female character is Dawn. The character you don't pick will be the professor's assistant during the course of the game. Remember that these settings cannot be changed later, so be careful to avoid any spelling errors. Also, it would be best to not use all capital letters when naming either your character or your Pokémon in this generation. Professor Rowan will then introduce you to what will become your rival character. He will ask you to pick a name for your rival. The default name is Barry, but you can pick any of the other names available or create an entirely different name. You start out in your hometown called Twinleaf Town, which lies in the southwest part of Sinnoh. As soon as you move, Barry will rush into the room. He wants you to go outside with him to see Professor Rowan and get a Pokémon from him. Before we leave, I will demonstrate the main menu for you. The bag will contain all of the items that you collect during your journey, everything from healing items and Pokeballs to key items. Your trainer card will contain information about your trainer ID, the amount of money you have and how many gym badges you have collected. You can save your game from the main menu. The options menu will allow you to change certain settings like text speed, whether or not you want to show battle animations, and the color of the frame of the text box. In Generation 4, the real-time functions of the game have been greatly expanded compared to Generation 3, As in Generation 2, time is divided not only into hours of the day but also into days of the week. Certain events will only take place on a particular day of the week and or at a particular time of day. What Pokémon you can catch in a route will also differ between morning, daytime and night. The light will change throughout the day, similar to real-life conditions. When you finally get to Route 201 with Barry, you will be stopped by Professor Rowan for attempting to go into the tall grass without a Pokémon. After a while, Dawn will join you with Rowan's briefcase containing the 3 starter Pokémon in the Sinnoh region. You will then be asked to pick your starter Pokémon. Be advised that you can save your game just before you make your choice, if you are looking for either a shiny Pokémon or a Pokémon with a particular nature. Turtwig is the Grass-type starter. It's a defensive Pokémon while at the same time being a good physical attacker. Its move pool is full of Grass-type moves, including moves such as Razor Leaf and Grass Knot. Moves of other types worth mentioning are Crunch and Earthquake. When it evolves into Torterra at level 36, it will become a dual Grass-Ground type. It will then be immune to Electric-type attacks and resistant to Ground and Rock-type attacks. The downside is that it will be 4 times weak to Ice-type attacks. Chimchar is the Fire-type starter. It evolves into Monferno at level 14, where it becomes a dual Fire fighting type, and finally into Infernape at level 36. Because of its good offensive stats and diverse move pool, you can raise this Pokémon in several different ways according to how you want the rest of your team to look like. You may find it slightly difficult to use Chimchar in the very beginning of the game because of its type, but once you get it past that, it's a solid starter. Piplup is probably the weakest starter compared to the other two, but that's not to say that Piplup is a bad choice for a starter Pokémon. When it evolves into Empoleon at level 36, it will become a dual water steel type. You will then end up with a starter Pokémon which is resistant to 11 types. Piplup's move pool has several decent moves, but most of them are learned via TMs and it takes a while for them to become available. You will therefore not be able to fully enjoy the capabilities of this starter Pokémon until it reaches its final evolutionary stage. For this walkthrough I will choose Turtwig as my starter Pokémon. You will notice that all Pokémon have an ability, which is a special power that sometimes helps or even hinders the Pokémon during battle. Some abilities also have an effect outside of battle. Pokémon can have one of two possible abilities. After both you and Barry have picked your starter Pokémon, Barry will challenge you to a battle. Barry will always pick the starter that has a type advantage over your own starter. Dawn, or Lucas if you chose the female character, will have a third starter Pokémon that none of you picked. On the bottom screen you can see the options available to you at this point. Choosing the fight option will allow you to pick a move for your Pokémon to use. Your Pokémon can only know 4 moves at a time. At this stage, both your own Pokémon and your rival's Pokémon will know 1 offensive move and 1 status move. Since the transition from Generation 3 to Generation 4, there has been one major change to the battle system. In previous generations, a move was classified as either physical or special based upon the move's type. For example, electric type moves were special based, and bug type moves were physical based. Starting in the 4th generation, moves are deemed either physical or special based upon the move itself. For example, Hyper Beam is now a special based move, and Dragon Claw is now a physical based move. When you defeat a wild Pokémon or a Pokémon in a trainer battle, you will receive experience points. When your experience bar is maxed out, the Pokémon levels up and the bar is reset. A Pokémon's stats increase with each level and it can learn new moves or evolve through leveling up. Each Pokémon will also have a particular nature. Each nature will enhance the growth of one stat but hinder the growth of another. Defeating trainers will also earn you prize money. After the battle with Barry, your mom will give you the running shoes and tell you to go visit Professor Rowan in his lab in Sandgem Town. You will meet Barry again on Route 201 and he will ask you to come with him to nearby Lake Verity in the hopes of catching a legendary Pokémon. Barry will follow you around as you walk towards the lake. At the lake you will meet Cyrus, a mysterious man that we will be seeing a lot more of later in the game. The Pokémon Barry and Cyrus are talking about is Mesprit, a legendary Pokémon which is part of the legendary trio called the Lake Guardians. There are 2 other lakes similar to this one in Sinnoh, and all 3 are inhabited by a Lake Guardian. After the visit to Lake Verity, you are free to travel to Sandgem Town to see Professor Rowan. During a battle with a wild Pokémon or a trainer, you have the following options available on the bottom screen. You can choose to fight, you can open your bag to select an item to use, you can choose to switch out your Pokémon with another, or you can choose to run away. You can only run away during battles with wild Pokémon. I will skip most of the wild encounters during the walkthrough to save time. When you arrive in Sandgem Town, Dawn will meet you and take you to the Professor's lab. Inside you will get the opportunity to nickname your starter Pokémon. I will not be nicknaming the Pokémon on my team during the walkthrough. Professor Rowan will also give you the Pokédex. This device records information on every Pokémon that you have either met or caught. Pokémon that you have caught will have more information attached to them. When you exit the lab, Professor Rowan will give you TM27 Return. This normal type move will increase in strength the more friendly the Pokemon using it is to you. Return can have a maximum base power of 102. Dawn will then give you a small tour of the town and explain to you how Pokemon centers and Pokemarts work. Dawn will then tell you to go back to Twinleaf Town to say goodbye to your mom. Your mom will give you the journal, which will contain a short summary of your adventure. Barry's mom will then come in and ask you to deliver a parcel to Barry. That concludes the first part of the Platinum walkthrough. In the next part we will continue our adventure through the Sinnoh region.